Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought I'd do another lens review because I haven't done one for a while. Of the Sigma 18-35mm f1.8. That's right, if you didn't know it, Sigma made a crop sensor lens that has a constant aperture of f1.8 between its zoom range of 18 to 35mm. It's an industry first. This lens is any professional or portrait photographer's wet dream. It gives prime level quality in a zoom lens. Although it's not perfect, there isn't really any competition to a lens like this, so you'll just have to get one to see what I mean. As well as being an amazing workhorse of a lens, it has the added benefit of replacing your gym gear. That's right, this lens weighs over 1 kilogram, but even though it weighs so much, I have had no issues using it, even on my Canon EOS M. The lens zooms internally in this direction, and also focuses internally. When you hit the end of the focus, you hit a hard stop, which then makes it harder to turn, although you can continue. You can also turn it with autofocus turned on. The fact that this is an f1.8 zoom lens is no mistake. It lets in approximately as much as an f2.8 zoom lens does on a full frame body. This is a pretty amazing feat to say the least, and Sigma has been really shaping the industry recently. This lens is excellent news for crop sensor bodies of all kinds, and even great news for micro four thirds cameras, which can adapt it with a metabones adapter to be not only wider aperture at f1.4, but wider angle too. The only people that this doesn't serve is of course full frame users, especially those who've bought more mid-range full-frame cameras. It's really not very good for them. Anyway, enough of me being a fanboy over it, let's talk about the autofocus. It uses an ultrasonic autofocus motor for quick and quiet focusing, even during live view. I found it very fast and quiet. However, using your camera's gamut of autofocus areas, it sometimes misses the mark just because it's got such a wide aperture at f1.8. You can negate this by switching your camera to single autofocus point only, and at that point it becomes amazing and there's no more issues. This lens has a metal base plate, and that's either a pro or a con depending on who you talk to. A lot of people who are professionals prefer to have a metal base plate because they say it doesn't break as often, but I've never run into any issues using plastic, and obviously none with metal either. This lens has a 72mm filter thread at the top, which will make your filters maybe a little bit more expensive, but considering its wide angle and wide aperture nature, I'm surprised you can even get filters on this thing, so I'd consider that a big plus. It's the equivalent of a 27 to 55.5mm lens on a Nikon crop sensor body in full frame terms, and a 28.8 to 63mm lens on a Canon crop sensor body. So it doesn't quite have the zoom range of a 28 to 70 on a full frame body, but it's still pretty close and offers a better price. Speaking of price, you can buy it for 720 Australian dollars right now new on eBay. This lens is almost perfect optically, more on that later, but in terms of features, unfortunately it's missing one really awesome feature. That is image stabilization. Yes, I know what you're saying, it's already over 1 kilogram in weight, and adding IS would also add to that, as well as the size, but I've come to really love IS, not only just for video, but for stills too, and I'm a little bit sad that it doesn't have it here. Although, I can't really say that I'm unhappy with the lens, it's actually pretty freaking amazing. Anyway, enough chatting about this lens, let's take it out into the field and put it through its paces. This is what the zoom range looks from 18 through to 35mm. It's not an amazingly large zoom, but for portrait photographers, this will be a very workable range. How does this lens work against bright lights? Well, as you can see here, there is a little bit of flaring, but it holds its clarity well. As you can see, the closest focusing distance is 0.28 meters, and the bokeh looks absolutely lovely. The lens is sharp in the center of the frame straight from f1.8, and the vignetting and corner sharpness are best from f2.5. The same can be said for 24mm, except vignetting and corner sharpness get their best at f2.8. It's a similar situation again when we zoom into 35mm. The center of the frame is perfect from f1.8, and the corners get their best from f2.8. A very good result. So thanks guys for watching this video, I hope you liked it. I had to borrow this lens from a friend, so unfortunately I don't have that many photos to share with you. But here are some of them. Enjoy, and I'll see you next time.